Hi, I'm Becky from Dot to Dot Studio.
And I'm Sarah from It's So Sekitoko.
I'll start really quickly by telling you what I'm wearing, because people always ask if I don't tell them. This is a copy of a t-shirt that actually came free on the front of a magazine when I was about 16.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember Nova magazine?
No.
Did you ever get Nova?
No.
It wasn't around for long, but it came with a free t-shirt, and I took a pattern off it because it was falling to pieces. And this is the Scopulous Poppies jersey by Art Gallery Fabrics, which we have in stock, I think, on the website at the moment, but you won't find the t-shirt pattern anywhere. So I've got that out of the way. Today I wanted to talk to you about elastic. It's a bit of a dry subject, but there's so often when you're trying to buy the bits and bobs you need for your project and you don't really know what you're buying online, and I think a lot of people just buy any old elastic and think that'll do, it's the right width. But there are different types of elastic, and not all elastic is made equal. So there are different elastics you might want to use for your project. So these are all elastics that I would consider to be waistband. There are different widths as well as different strengths. Now this is a non-twist elastic, which if you can see, so it doesn't matter how much it stretches, that doesn't kink, because kinking elastic inside is really annoying.
So if you have something like in a garment, so it won't,
Yeah.
if you wash it, then it basically
won't kink.
it keeps
I
its
mean,
shape.
if I twist it really hard, but then that doesn't happen inside a garment.
Yes.
So if you want something where the elastic stays quite rigid and upright, this kind of elastic, the non-twist elastic, is going to be right for you.
Is that what it's called? Non-twist?
Yeah,
So that's
non-twist
how you-
elastic, because otherwise it can sort of kink and buckle up, as opposed to elastics which do kink, which have their place as well. But this, for example, kinks much more quickly. It's a softer feel elastic, and it does crumple down. So I would say this is more suitable for things like loungewear and pyjamas, anything where you want a softer finish. But for outerwear, especially with heavier fabrics, you want something with a bit more substance that's not going to squidge down too much.
You know the linen viscose trousers you made? You know the ones with that? Would you say so? So for a pair of trousers where you want the waistband probably again to look a bit smoother.
Stand upright.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's this kind of elastic. If I could bring it a little bit closer to the camera, you can see. So that's the non-twist. It's very springy, and it's a bit more firm, whereas this kind of elastic, which is softer, will kink and actually is more stretchy. So I'd say this is really good for things like children's wear, although it depends, sometimes there are still times you'd want a more stiff waistband. This is softer, springier, and does kink. So they're very basic elastics.
So question for you there, if you were using the white one on a pair of trousers, would you make a channel for that in your garment and then just pop it in? Or are these the ones where you would then stretch it out and put, I've seen some where the band's really wide and then there's sort of like 2 layers of stitching in, so it's sort of...
That depends, I would say.
Is that more a design thing than an elastic
partly.
thing? But you can stitch through it, through
You
the middle, and then
stitch
it's still...
through it, it's not a problem.
Yes.
But if you think about how thick your fabric is, sometimes you don't want that fabric folded over again into a channel because you're adding just extra layers of bulk, and then with the elastic as well, you've got a really chunky waistband. So for those kind of things, I would say actually an overlocked edge, or maybe even a bias band edge, up to the edge of your elastic, and then fold the whole thing over together and stitch through it would be better. Or I should have thought of some examples to show you, but I've just found I've got a pair of pyjamas that I'm altering here, and these ones are made like that. So the elastic is actually overlocked into the channel.
So it's just...
this is actually really soft and squidgy.
Yes.
Because it's pyjamas.
Yes.
But it's quite wide. So there are different ways, but I think usually I prefer the fold over a channel and then put your elastic through, because you can adjust it, and often you don't know exactly how big the elastic should be until you've got the garment on and you feel the weight of the garment. Because those linen viscose trousers, when I run up and downstairs, I'm at risk of losing them. I need to take the elastic out and make them a bit tighter, because I think most of us, our weight fluctuates slightly, and it's just better if you can adjust that elastic. But if you know for certain that that's the size you want, by all means stitch through it, which gives it a nice flat appearance and stops it twisting within the channel.
So then my other thing for you is, I'm a complete loather of elastic. I mean, it's like if I come to sewing class and any pattern that even mentions elastic, I'm shy. I said, don't want elastic. I don't want elastic. I don't like it. I don't like how it all. Really, I'm really sort of phobic until
Yeah, I introduced Sarah to these soft elastics. So these are plush elastics, which are designed to be felt. You prefer them still inside the channel, but they are really soft. So I've got a few different plush elastics here. This one is this is 32mm wide. This is what I call boxer short elastic, and we do this in a range of colours. Might be cutting here. This is a soft elastic. It does scrunch down, but it's very soft for underwear. So boxer shorts, again, lightweight pyjamas would be fine as well, but it's not got the strength that you'd want on something which is a heavier, longer garment. I wouldn't, for example, put this on a long skirt, because if you were walking upstairs, I think you trod on it, the whole thing would just descend.
I think what I like about it is, again, I tend to find when I have elastic, I don't like things that actually pull in, you know, so that when you're wearing it, you end up with like a bulge.
Oh yeah, that's not a good look.
I don't like that, and I tend to find that's what elastic does to me, and I don't know if it just must be how I'm put together, but I really don't like it. But when I've used this really soft, and it's lovely and wide, and I've used that, it just doesn't do it, because it's so soft, and it sort of sits on top of my skin. It doesn't pull in, even when it's tight. I don't know if I'm describing that right. The
heavier the garment,
as you're sort of pulling here, you can see there it still doesn't. It doesn't pull in. Whereas I know that if I put one of the tough ones on, I know
this
that would, straight away I can see that. And that one
especially, because it's hard at the edges. You can see how
that's what I mean. Especially
when it's hard at the edges.
Yeah, exactly. When that's on a squidgy bit, I don't like it. I mean, I'm really funny about that. But this has been amazing.
So that's what I'd call boxer short, which is that one. We've also got, this is a waistband fold over elastic. This is brilliant if you want to enclose the top edge of your fabric inside a piece of elastic and have it look it nice both sides. So if you don't have an overlocker and you want to enclose all those raw edges, this is a really good elastic. I'll show you the kind of thing you might use it on, say for like children's tutus.
Yes.
Where the net can be really scratchy on their waists. So you can gather your netting up, and traditionally you might just get a elastic like this, which is really pretty. It's a sparkly elastic, and you could then zigzag stitch it onto the surface, and then it all still fully stretches. But depending on how soft your net is, you might actually want to keep those edges all tucked in. Otherwise you have to wear a t-shirt tucked in, and that kind of limits, you know, the amount of use it gets. So this fold over elastic is perfect for this. So you would, as normal, you would gather up the top of your fabric, netting for example, and then enclose it. So I do my first row of stitching along there as a little row of zigzag stitch as normal. Then I would trim this down to make it nice and level. Then I would fold this over in the
oh yes, because
it's woven.
It's woven.
It's woven with a score down the middle, so it naturally wants to fold over in the middle. And then you zigzag again, and then that becomes the outside, so you have one row of zigzag stitching. It then is fully stretchy, it encloses all the raw edges, and it's basically reversible as well, actually. So you could sew this into a ring, like that, before you started, press that seam open, and then, this is where I need to have like 12 extra hands, and then it would look lovely, because your seams would all be tucked in. You could stretch it all out,
you had to get everything correctly pinned, and
you distribute the gathers evenly. So this is a fold over elastic. We have this in a range of colours as well, not just ballet elastic. Look at that there. And so that's the soft plush. We also have these plush elastics in like a really good range of strong, bold colours, and they're great. We sold so much of this for people making scrubs.
Yes.
Absolutely masses, because you don't always want the elastic to be enclosed. If you want something that shows on the outside, this is lovely on pyjamas, because you know you can have that pop of colour. It's great on children's wear, they love it. And we've got loads of different colours and stripes. There's this one which is sparkly.
Think about it, that's where I met you, wasn't it? So I came down
and
I met you over COVID when I came to pick up some elastics, because that's how I kind of got into my sewing big time. So
Sarah made, how many pairs of scrubs did you make?
Oh, myself probably about 20 pairs, and I got involved with like the Sussex makers, and I was kind of sort of part of the hub, and hundreds between a whole team of us, and masks. And I came down for you for mask pieces and all the elastic for behind the ears. I kept coming back going, I need more.
Because none of us were prepared for what was actually going to unravel, were we? But it turned out that I have a lot of elastics. I don't know why. I've always sort of thought, this is really interesting. I love to have these different coloured ones. So having an elastic fetish actually proved quite useful during lockdown. And we were even approached by the university a hospital of Bath.
Wow.
So we provided all their elastics for all their scrubs. So because we had so many online, people knew we did elastics. So we've got lots of these different coloured ones. These are lovely for, again, like the top of a tutu or the top of a children's skirt, or even as a detail, like down the outside of the trouser leg. So if you've got some sort of plain sweatshirtings that are like jogger bottoms, you can attach this down the outside, and because it fully stretches, it's not going to like bunch up when you walk. It's not going to become stiff. Or you can put them down. You can put them down a raglan of a jumper.
Yes.
There's lots of places, but I quite like the sporty Go Faster stripe.
I like the idea of that. Actually.
Yeah,
especially that. I'm sure I saw. In fact, I can see them on the shelf. I'm just going to get them. You've got some elastic that's got like wording on it. And I was like, how do you sew them on? Do you know, like without kind of getting in the way?
So while Sarah's grabbing that elastic, I will just show you this other waistband elastic. This is one that you definitely don't have on show. This goes within a channel, and it has little buttonholes in it. You've probably seen this on children's wear if you have a child, or it's quite popular just inside men's tailored trousers, but the sort of comfy end of the spectrum rather than the tailored trouser. But these you have a button hidden on the inside, and you just pull your elastic through the channel and just adjust it. So if you're likely to need something to sort of change size with like a growing child, or
our version of a buffet dress,
or buffet trousers, then this elastic's really useful because you don't have to have it tightened at all. Have you never?
No.
You never seen this inside clothes?
No. Well, maybe I have, but I haven't really given it some thought as to like
not
how
what it was.
Yeah, maybe I just.
So it gets anchored at one point, so like inside a seam at the back, it would be anchored, and then you just pull through as much as you need, and it just gives you that little extra nip in. So that's buttonhole elastic. We do that in black and white because it's not supposed to show. You don't need a full range of colours. It's just, goes inside.
Oh, wow. So this is what I meant. So like stuff. When you have something like that, and you can see like, how would you stitch that on?
I would do this with a narrow zigzag. Yeah. So with all these things, I always use the bit of elastic that I don't need that's at the end, and I always do a trial run. So I'd use a narrow, quite short, quite close together zigzag stitch, and go really quite close to the edge.
Do you go over the edge? I know this is going to sound. Do you go?
It depends on the garment. If with this one, because the writing is so close to the edge, if you are stitching this on at full stretch, you can do a straight stitch, and it'll be absolutely fine.
Of course, because it will bunch the
stitching will bunch up. If you think, oh my god, I've stretched it out when I've stitched through it, you can just use a little bit of steam, and it will just all the way back up. Having said that, you have to bear in mind that every single time your needle goes through the elastic and leaves some thread in there, you are adding a little extra to the length because you've got the width of that thread every single time. So if you're doing millions of stitches really close together, you might find that your elastic never completely recovers to the original size. So that's why I always do a tester, and you'll find out
much about that type of thing, just sort of like.
Yeah, well, usually you know how you have to buy things in whole meters.
Yeah. And
often that means that you've got a bit that size left over. That's a really good thing to practice on. Yeah. And that's how I would approach that. There's no one hard and fast rule, but I think as long as you always do a sample and test it out. So that's a bit of information about waistband elastics. If you have any questions, do ask us and I'll try and answer. I can't think of anything else to say, really.
No. Except maybe we'll do different elastics next time.
Maybe we'll do lingerie elastics next time, or if you have any other thoughts you'd like us to explain something in a bit more detail, do let us know.
Brilliant.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Bye for now.
Bye.